my loves. If you are a sticky, messy, sweet-hearted, overthinking joy seeker, come. See, we're on battery alerts already. Today may be a short one. Come join me. Step into this somatic space and breathe. It's Monday. It's a happy body session. Okay, right. I'm going to take some rings off. Actually, I'm just going to take one ring off. And I'm going to grab a sip of water. So here we are. And for the plan for today is we are just going to step back into our bodies. Don't know how your day's gone, but so far I have had missed phone calls from my daughter because I was rushing to get here and I was already running late. And I pick up a voicemail when I get here with a very sad sounding child. And I'm like, oh God, and now I can't get a hold of her. But it's all okay. She is resilient. I know what the issue is. And it's just time to come back into our body. And as I've said about these happy body sessions, they are mostly a reconnection for me with the work I do, my whole body of work. But I want to share it with you along the way. And today, seems like a very good morning to do that. So we're just going to start by a little bit of breath work. And then we're going to move into some other stuff. We're going to talk about shouldering burdens. Anyone with a high cognitive load, this one's for you, babes. We're talking about how to stay joyful when it all seems like a hellscape of what the actual. We can do this. We've got this. We can do this. Okay, so wherever you are, feet firmly on the floor. You might just want to have a wee little wiggle around. Just check in with your body. See where it is tight. See where it is holding. And yes, I was doing this at 4 o'clock this morning when I was laid awake. And this is okay because we have the tools to come back into our bodies, to sit in our voices. We're going to do loads of work with that over the next few weeks as well. And we're just going to do the thing. All right. Actually, I'm going to make it easier on myself because I know there is some work that I want to do. It's a bit colder in this room than I was hoping today, but hey. So let's just come down to this. Okay. Whew. So we're going to place one hand up here. Sorry. Jewelry on microphones. We're going to sit back so we feel supported and comfortable because we get our support where we can. Sometimes we provide it for ourselves. Sometimes it's just a lovely chair. Come on, my sticky little friends. We can do this. Okay, so one hand up high. In fact, let's just start off with a wee bit of tapping. So when we tap, and this probably sounds horrible on the mic, but when we tap, it's a really great way of soothing that vagus nerve. You know, we talk about this vagus nerve. It's the on-off switch in our stress reaction. Cranial nerve 10 goes through the base, goes through the torso, ends up innervating your gut, goes through the diaphragm, which means we can use breath to help massage the vagus nerve. And by massaging the vagus nerve, we send calming signals up to the brain. And another way of massaging the vagus nerve is by tapping down on our sternum, so the bony bit between the ribs. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that drop back into the breath. Going to keep feet nice and flat on the floor. All right, so one hand on your stomach, one hand up high as we can. Skin on skin is best. But if you have to do this through a shirt, just hold focus on the warmth of your hand. So before we even do any more breathing, we are just going to think about the warmth of our fingers on our skin. We're thinking about the distinction between the boniness of the top hand sitting on ribs and the softness of the lower hand sitting on belly. We're not judging ourselves. We're not shooting ourselves. We're just enjoying the sensation of having a body. What a bloody amazing thing. We have bodies. So good. There's loads of things we cannot control in the world. Oh my gosh, there are so many things we cannot control. Breathe all the way deep into your belly. Let that breath out long and slow. But we can control our relationship to ourselves. And that can take some healing. And it takes a certain amount of time of recognizing your own toxic traits. I recognized at 4 o'clock in this morning. I would say I'm a bloody optimistic person. I'm a very optimistic person. And yet, holy shit, if we are using the cup half full, cup half empty analogy, I am most certainly cup half full, but I do have a tendency to then go crack a raw egg on the top, making the whole thing unpalatable. So later I will be doing some energetic clearing work on that, and that is something that I can do with you if you work with me perfectly. But right now we're just breathing. There's loads of ways to break the chain on our toxic behaviors, self-sabotaging behaviors. And the breath is a really great way. Oh, good, we're unstable again. A really great way to start that. The other day I went for a walk with my daughter and we walked up along the hill behind here where the mobile phone antenna is, which is making the most horrific noises right now, which is probably why I have unstable internet quite often. So apologies. One of these days I'm going to have to watch these back and see if they actually glitch. All right, so here's a fun one we're going to do. You're going to take your index fingers and you're just going to put them, and see, in your ear. You see how you have this lovely little tufty bit just inside your ear? Okay, we're going to settle in and we are going to gently hold our earlobe behind and we're just going to pull these down. So all you're doing right now is you're just pulling your email. Pulling your email down. Pulling your earlobes down. Oh man, tell you what, my right earlobe feels way lower than my left earlobe. Maybe my head is on funny. There seems to be a lot more flexibility in my right earlobe. Again, we're just noticing things. Things that make us giggle. No judgment. We don't need to judge. And now what we're going to do is we are now keeping that momentum. I don't know. How quickly are your earlobes moving? We're now going to pull our earlobes outwards. And I'm just resting my fingers on the side of my head so that I can traction the pull without tiring my arms. Yeah. So we're pulling earlobes out, away, kind of diagonally towards the corners of tips of your shoulder, corners of your shoulder. You know what I mean. Pay attention. Does this drop you further into your breath? Can you feel yourself taking those deep breaths? All right. And now let's just Give your ears a little rub. Rubbity rub. These are really, really simple things. But what they do is they bring you back into sensation with your body. They switch off your mind because that vagus nerve release, that vagus nerve softening. I know it's not actually softening or releasing, but you know what I mean, like in a kind of feel sense way. So when you are coming back out of this stress place and back into down here, you can actually feel it and hear it in your voice. So another example of this, at the weekend, I was watching my girl play football. It was quite a frustrating watch. In as much as they were making daft mistakes that they know better than. And you could see they were getting frustrated, and you could see that the other team were a bit like, the other team as well. Bloody massive! They're all under 12s, but the other team were huge. And our girls are on the slighter side, on the shorter side. I don't know why. And I could feel as I was like cheering them on, my voice wasn't down here. I wasn't like coming from this place of grounded confidence. I was coming from somewhere up here. And up here is a way more stressful place. And what that's also doing is it's conveying to the girls on a verbal, non-verbal, verbal, unconscious level, subconscious level. It's conveying to the girls that we are stressed for them. Whereas if you can drop your voice down here, you are confident for them. It is like, it's so cool. All right. So the second thing I wanted to show you today, when we are under attack, under threat, feeling shut down, feeling emotionally overloaded, there is a tendency to collapse in. We go into a defensive tuck. So what this means is the line from here to here, front of body line gets shortened, and the line here to here, the horizontal line gets shortened. So we're working along a vertical and a horizontal axis. And that's this really old evolutionary tactic to protect our soft gut, because it's really exposed, especially, like when we went from being like quadruped, like mobilizing, I want to say, on four, so using our arms and legs to move around, and we went into an upright primate stance. Wow. We left all of this soft, important gutty area. We left it exposed. And so when we come under stress, we collapse down to protect ourselves. And what also modern life does is we end up in chin forward positions where we are focusing on screens, computers, driving cars, everything in our life. Oh, look at that, 10% battery. Super. Everything in our life is kind of like this, which takes us out of the position of power. So when we can regain our posture, again, we are looking at this as well in terms of non-verbal communication. When we are in a relaxed, upright posture, we convey a greater sense of authority to when we're down here, because when we're down here, we look like we're in trouble. So we want to come up into our posture. And I talk a lot in my work about this feeling of slink, this feeling of inhabiting your body, of like being connected to your pelvis, like leading from your gutty bits. Leading in a way which feels quite authoritative, not authoritarian. That's different. We don't need to be authoritarian. So anything we can do to open up across here is a really good thing. And given the time and the battery, I have many tools on this, but I'm going to show you a really simple shoulder wakener upperer. Technical term. Okay, so first of all, I just want you to get a feel for how your shoulders feel. So wang your arms around a bit. Do they feel the same? Do they feel as smooth and as clean as you go up and down? As you go forward, up and down? Can you go back? Can you go back? Can you link your fingers? Also, can you do all this without, can you see how I'm popping my rib cage? Which means I'm forward tilting my pelvis. Well, what strength and confidence can often look like, be faked to look like, is not popping here, but maintaining this kind of core. I don't know why I've still got that on behind my back. Maintaining this kind of core strength, rigidity. Is a better word. Buckminster Fuller. Oh my God. Anyway, as we were saying, can you do this without doing this? Right. So how do your shoulders feel? Now what we're going to do is we're going to make bear claw. The old bear claw. And we're going to rub. Well, I'm doing loads of things that my mic hates today. We're going to rub into the tissue between your ribs. Get in between your ribs, into those intercostal muscles, depending on how busty you are. You might be able to get in under and around in your ribs. I'm going to do both sides. Again, you might feel that breath drop in. So we're going around like this, all the way under there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take that bear claw and we're going to turn it into knuckles. In terms of pressure, this is an activation rather than a myofascial release. So you can kind of knuckle in there. Obviously, if it is agony, do not. Go to the limit that you can take. This is not punishment. This is release work. This is somatic grounding. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take the hand and we're going to make a shovel. Yeah, that. We're going to come around the side of the body and we're almost like thinking about pushing the muscles back. So pushing the back muscles back to the back. You get me? And we're going to do it again. Shovel. We're do it this way. Super. And then just have another go. How does it feel? Do you have any more range of movement? Do you feel more comfortable? Has it made no change at all? That's fine. You might have fantastic range of movement. Anyway, so there we go. Hopefully you are feeling a bit more set in yourself. Let's all, offer up our existential, crawling, grabbing dread up for transmutation into something more positive. Here's that guy. So in Reiki terms, that would be Saint-Germain. Saint Germain offering negative to be transmutated into positive by Saint Germain and his purple flame. Oh, yes. Hope you're feeling more rested, more centered, more grounded, more in your body. If you are curious about any of this and you want to know more, drop me a line. Do people do that still? Leave me a comment. Let's start a chat. All right then, loves. Take care. I will be back here on Wednesday morning, 8:30, bright and early. I'll see y'all then. Take care. Love you. Bye.